Introduction to power supply. Power supply is an electrical device which provides operating voltage to the computer. Specifications of power supply. As per IBM, a minimum load of 7 amperes at 5 volts and 2.5 amperes at 12 volts is required. The total power required for a PC could range from 250 watts to 1000 watts. Applications of power supply. Power supply is used to provide power to PC for arc welding purposes as AC adapters. Types of power supply. The various types of power supply are DC power supply, AC power supply, linear regulated power supply, batteries, uninterrupted power supply, switched mode power supply. Introduction to AC power supply. AC power supply takes voltage from the mains and converts them to DC before transmitting it to any device. Concept of rectifier. To convert AC into DC, a rectifier circuit is used, which ensures that the current does not reverse its direction. Rectifier circuits can be classified as single-phase and three-phase circuits. Again, every phase has half-wave rectifiers and full-wave rectifiers. Single-phase rectifier circuits. This circuit converts single-phase AC into DC. The sine waves produced by the AC power supply reach 90 degrees simultaneously. Single-phase half-wave rectifier. A single diode is required in the circuit as shown in the diagram. Only the positive or negative part of the wave is passed and the other part is blocked. In a half-wave rectifier, only positive or negative phase of the signal reaches the output. Single-phase full-wave rectifier. A full-wave rectifier uses two diodes back-to-back as shown in the diagram. It converts both polarities of input wave and converts it into one DC wave, thus generating higher average output voltage. In a full-wave rectifier, both the half cycles of the input are utilized with two diodes working back-to-back. Three-phase rectifiers. A three-phase rectifier converts three-phase AC into DC and is most commonly used in industrial and high-power applications. A three-phase rectifier can be taken in the form of half-wave rectifier, full-wave rectifier, and bridge rectifier. Three-phase half-wave rectifier. It consists of three diodes, one for each phase. When a three-phase AC wave is half-rectified, only one polarity of all the three waves is obtained. As shown in the waveform, when a three-phase AC voltage is applied, a DC output is obtained. Three-phase full-wave rectifier. It consists of 6 diodes, 3 for the positive half of the cycle and 3 for the negative half. It generates a much smoother DC output. As shown in the waveform, when a three-phase voltage input is applied, output of full-wave DC output is shown. Three-phase bridge rectifier. This is also a full-wave rectifier consisting of 6 diodes, but instead of having a center tap, it is connected in this manner. It generates a ripple-free DC output. As shown in the diagram, input waveform and output waveform are fully rectified. 12-pulse bridge. It consists of 6-phase AC voltage, which generates 12 pulses. 12 diodes are used in the circuit, 6 for positive polarity and 6 for negative polarity. Losses in a rectifier. Half-wave and full-wave rectifiers have a peak voltage drop of 1 diode, whereas bridge has 2 diodes drop of peak voltage. Power is dissipated in these circuits. Introduction to regulated power supplies. A regulated power supply converts unregulated AC into constant DC. The DC output obtained from the rectifier consists of ripples. A regulated power supply smoothens the ripples, keeps the DC voltage constant irrespective of the load. Regulated power supplies are used for testing electronic equipment in mobile phone adapters, amplifiers, and oscillators. Introduction to power supply filters. A power supply filter aims at removing AC ripple completely. The types of power supply filters are capacitor input, choke input, pi filter, RC capacitor input filter. Capacitor input filter. In this type of filter, a capacitor is placed in parallel to the load resistor. This capacitor shunts any variation in voltage to ground. Choke input filter. In this type of filter, an inductance is placed in series with output impedance. The inductance chokes off peaks. Pi filter. This filter is called pi filter because of its resemblance to Greek alphabet pi. It is a combination of capacitor input and choke input filter. RC capacitor input filter. This filter is similar to the pi filter, but in place of inductance, a resistor is placed in between the capacitors. Applications of power supply filters. They are mainly used in power supplies to reduce the amount of noise. 3-terminal regulators. A regulator is used to maintain steady voltage. Fixed regulators. Fixed regulators are used to generate fixed voltages like 3 volts, 5 volts, 6 volts, 15 volts when the load is less than 1.5 amps. Variable regulators. Variable regulators are in the form of ICs where voltage can be varied by connecting an external resistor. Introduction to batteries. Batteries are convenient sources of electricity that can be easily stored and utilized. Types of batteries. Batteries can be broadly classified into 2 types, primary and secondary. Primary batteries. They are non-rechargeable. They convert chemical energy to electrical energy irreversibly. Secondary batteries. They are rechargeable. Their chemical reactions can be reversed by supplying electric energy to the cell. Factors affecting battery. The following factors affect the performance of a battery: self-discharge, corrosion, charge-discharge speed, overcharging, and environmental factors. Self-discharge. Due to non-current producing chemical reactions taking place in a battery, they lose about 8–20% of original charge when stored. Corrosion. Internal parts of the battery may corrode and fail. Charge-discharge speed. The speed of charging decreases the lifespan of the battery. Overcharging. Overcharging a battery damages it. It is better to use a charger which detects the charging amount. Environmental factors. External factors like vibration, shock, and temperature changes affect the lifespan of the battery. Maintenance of a battery. Regularly check the level of distilled water in each battery and refill if necessary. Recharge your batteries regularly after use. Regularly wash the top of batteries with a mixture of baking soda and water. Introduction to SMPS. A switched mode power supply SMPS is used to achieve good voltage regulation and achieve good conversion of power. The SMPS functions in 3 states: input rectifier, where AC is converted to DC, inverter phase, where again the DC is converted into inverted AC, output rectifier stage, where the inverted AC is given to the high windings transformer. SMPS topologies. SMPS topologies are given as non-isolated converters, isolated converters, and quasi-resonant switch. Non-isolated topology. Non-isolated topologies are the simplest with just one inductor for storage. Isolated topology. Isolated topologies use transformer for gaining multiple output voltages. Quasi-resonant switch. In this type of switch, a quantized energy packet is obtained at 0 current, 0 voltage rating. SMPS in PC. SMPS is used in PC so that every part of PC gets proper power supply separately. SMPS helps split the power to motherboard, hard disk, floppy drive, CD drive, etc. For a PC with normal configuration, SMPS should have 20 amps rating. Power could vary from 300 watts to 500 watts. For a power of 0 to 100 watts and output current is less than 5 amps, single switch and 2 switch flyback and a single switch and 2 switch forward can be used. For a power of 400 to 1200 watts, half bridge, full bridge, and ZVT full bridge can be used. Troubleshooting of SMPS. Troubleshooting of SMPS can be done in the following ways. Visually checking SMPS for any inflated capacitors. Checking power at the input fuse. If good, then semiconductors is good. If fuse is blown, then don't replace the fuse. First fix a short circuit wherever necessary. Handling of SMPS. SMPS needs to be carefully handled since it is connected directly to the mains and most of its components consist of high power. So before touching SMPS, make sure that all the capacitors are discharged. Advantages of SMPS. Greater efficiency. A switching transistor acts as a switch and dissipates little power. Introduction to UPS. Uninterruptible power supply provides emergency power to a load when the mains fail. A UPS uses double conversion method of accepting AC input, rectifying to DC, passing this through a string of batteries and inverting it to AC again. Types of UPS. The following are the types of UPS: offline, line interactive, and online. Offline, standby. It only provides surge protection and battery backup. Line interactive. It is similar to offline UPS, but has a variable transformer and hence can change the output voltage. Online, double conversion. In online UPS, batteries are always connected to the inverter and no power switching is necessary. Application of UPS. UPS is used in places where a single point of failure can cause loss. Large businesses, computer chassis, outdoor purposes.